Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Boxing Along the Beltway. Our news and notes for this week, and a lot going on this past week. We had a good amount of boxing action in the pro ranks this past week for the first time, maybe this year. We haven't had this much pro boxing. We got a lot more coming your way in the next couple months. Unfortunately, none of it is in the Beltway area, but a lot of our boxers are traveling all over the country, and we have updates on some events that took place this past Saturday, and also we have a full amateur event update coming up as well, plus a couple of big bouts, one big bout in particular coming up this week in the pro ranks here in California coming up this Saturday. Beltway Boxing News and Notes brought to you by Real-Time Pain Relief, from boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain to muscle strain and everything in between. Boxing Along the Beltway recommends Real-Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief, you get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And brought to you also by our new sponsor, DeborahSpears.com, which is the best in fine jewelry, including a nice boxing pendant that you can get for about $28 on DeborahSpears.com. And look forward to having some great jewelry there. If you want to get some great jewelry, go to DeborahSpears.com. We'll start our look this week in the Columbus, Ohio Hollywood Casino, and that's where Baltimore, Maryland Cruiserweight Slick Nick Kisner won a 10-round unanimous decision over Brian Holstein. That was in a rematch, and once again, Kisner claims the NABA USA Cruiserweight title. That took place Saturday, March 3rd, at the Hollywood Casino in Columbus, Ohio. Now, the first bout, Kisner won the first bout, and much like that first bout, Kisner was able to control the pace of the contest. He had good right hands from distance. He's got very quick hands for a cruiserweight. Very quick hands. He likes to keep them low a lot of times, and against the tougher boxers, that doesn't give him a good opportunity to win. But against guys like Holstein, who's a pretty decent boxer, not a great boxer, he does well against that. And he did it again against Holstein, and this time he won the bout by scores of 98-91, 97-93, and 96-94. Now, again, this is the second time Kisner's won the title. Now, I thought that Kisner was stripped of the title because he didn't defend it. That may or may not be true. I'm not sure. He may have defended the title this past Saturday. I'm not 100% sure what went on. But meanwhile, Kisner did win the bout. He is now 24-1, 20 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw with 6 KOs. Holstein is now 13-8 with 1 draw and 7 KOs. So congratulations to Nick Kisner. Good bout. Had a chance to see it online. No, Kisner fought pretty well. One of the better performances of his career. And we'll see what happens going forward. We'll see what happens with him, because every time he gets himself back in a situation, when he moves up to the next level, he falters. So we'll see what happens if he can get over that hump and do well in cruiserweight action. Meanwhile, over in New York, we had 2 boxers fighting on both the cards that took place this past Saturday in New York. The one that took place at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, and the one that took place at the theater in Madison Square Garden in New York City. A couple Beltway boxers on those cards. Antoine Russell scored a second-round TKO over Keeson Freeman of Aiken, South Carolina. That was at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And Russell looked very good. Had a chance to see some highlights of this one. He knocked Freeman down in the first round with a series of right hands. He managed to survive the first round, and that's the first time Russell has gone past the first round in his career. He had 3 straight first-round knockouts in his rookie season. Of course, he was co-rookie of the year in the Beltway. But he jumped on Freeman again in round 2. He used a series of hooks to drop him again, and the bout will be stopped at 116 of the second round. So Antoine Russell, 4-0, 4 KOs. Freeman loses for the first time. He is 4-1, 2 KOs. He had not fought the competition nearly that Russell had fought. Russell had fought the veteran Jesus Lule, who had a lot of experience. Freeman had fought guys who were 0-1 and made pro debuts. So he hadn't fought. He was going up in class against the 2016 Olympian Antoine Russell. So congratulations to Antoine Russell as he remains undefeated. Meanwhile, a boxer by the name of Cassius Chaney, who is originally from Baltimore, but fights out of New London, Connecticut, although he had Baltimore people in his corner this past Saturday. Cassius Chaney won a second-round TKO over Tim Washington of Toledo, Ohio. That was at the Theater of Madison Square Garden in New York City. That was on the Dmitry Bivol and Sergey Kovalev card. And the Russell fight was on the card that had that great matchup between Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz. And, of course, the big win for Jose Uzcategui over Andre Durrell. And Cassius Chaney had a feeling out process in the first round against Washington. Then he rocked Washington with a right hand that staggered him around the ring, dropped him awkwardly to the canvas. Bout was immediately stopped at 128 of the second round. So Chaney has never fought in the Beltway. Hopefully he'll come back. I'm not sure if he's living here now, living in the area now, living in Baltimore. Not sure. He had Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis in his corner. So hopefully that means he'll be boxing in the area. He's 12-0, 6 KOs. So we'll see what happens. Washington now evens his record. He's 6-6 with 6 KOs on his career. So congratulations to Cassius Chaney out of Baltimore. And another Baltimore boxer, Ernest Lightning Bug Hall, I believe it is now, Ernest Lightning Bug Hall. He lost a 4-round unanimous decision to Ricky Tomlinson of Thonotasasa, Florida. And that was this past Saturday at Banquet Masters in Clearwater, Florida. So not a whole lot of details on this card, but Hall lost by scores of 40-36 and 39-37 twice. His first loss for Ernest Hall, he's 3-1 now, 1 KO, his first road trip. And Tomlinson is now 6-3-2 with 2 KOs. So that's the recap from this past Saturday. A lot of events going on. This coming Saturday, March the 10th, big night for one of our Beltway boxers, a guy who has been our Rookie of the Year, our Prospect of the Year. He faces a big test that he has got to overcome if he wants to progress in the world of boxing going forward. We're talking about Mike Yes Indeed Reed, the super lightweight out of Waldorf, Maryland. Now, Reed bout against Arnold Barboza. That'll be Saturday, March 10th at StubHub Center in Carson, California. And this is a 10-round bout that'll be televised naturally by ESPN. I believe it starts at 9 o'clock in the evening. I'm not 100% sure we'll get that time to. No, 10 o'clock in the evening. 10 o'clock Eastern time for that bout. Now, Mike Reed, who's 23-1, 12 KOs, he looks about back from that second round TKO loss, that awful loss he had against Jose Carlos Ramirez on November 11th in Fresno, California. This bout will be at the StubHub Center in Carson, California, as we said before. Reed fights a boxer this time around, Barboza Jr., who's 17-0, but he only has 6 KOs. And he comes off an 8-round unanimous decision over Jonathan Chicas on August 5th in Los Angeles. And unlike Reed, who has been 10 rounds twice before, Barboza will be going into his first scheduled 10-round contest. So everything seems to be favoring Mike Reed going into this bout. And then the key for Mike Reed, though, he's going to have to look very good and win. Okay? It's not just enough to win this bout. Reed has to look very good because Top Rank is looking at him now. And one of the things that I'm hearing about Reed as far as Top Rank's concerned is that, yeah, he wins, but he doesn't do enough. Okay? He needs to win more impressively than he has. And I think this is the big key for him, and everything favors that. Again, he's fighting a guy who's not known for knockout power, unlike Ramirez, who had a lot of knockouts. And he's facing a guy who has never been 10 rounds before. So Reed has an opportunity to take him into deep water in this bout. Whether or not he can do that remains to be seen. And we'll check that out on Saturday, March 10th, from the StubHub Center in Carson, California. Mike Reed against Arnold Barboza Jr. That'll be a 10-round bout from the StubHub Center in Carson, and that'll be televised on ESPN. Wish him well, but this has got to be a big win for him. He's got to win this bout, Reed does, and he's got to look impressively in doing it. So we'll see what happens there. Also on Saturday, March 10th, Willis the Prophet Lockett. He's the veteran out of Tacoma Park, Maryland. He's in a cruiserweight bout against another veteran in Camden, New Jersey's Prince Badi Ajamu. Now, these two boxers have competed 75 times together and have a combined age of 87 years old. Lockett is 41 years old. Ajamu is 46 years old. Lockett, who's 15, 22, and 6 with 5 KOs, they'll be fighting at the Claridge Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Lockett has lost 3 of his last 4. He lost a 5th-round TKO to Frederick Julian on November 18th at the Claridge. And over this career, he began his career in 2001. Lockett has fought some quality people. He's fought former world champion Keith Holmes, Willie For Real Williams, Henry Mays, Maxwell the General Taylor. He's also fought outside the Beltway the likes of Dante Craig, Jerson Ravel, Chuck Musashi. He fought him twice, and he fought Jerry Forrest twice as well. Ajamu is 28-3-1, 15 KOs. He also started his pro career in 2001, and he would have even more bouts on his record if he didn't take an 8-year hiatus from boxing from 2009 to 2017. Ajamu has been where Lockett definitely wanted to be. He is a former NABA and Continental America's light heavyweight champion, and he lost his biggest bout of his career to recently retired legend Roy Jones Jr. Ajamu lost a 12-round unanimous decision to Jones back in July of 2016. That was in Boise, Idaho. Now, in his last outing, Ajamu won an 8-round unanimous decision over Edgar Perez, a guy we've known from Illinois. He's fought here a number of times in the Beltway. He beat Perez August 5th at the Claridge. So, best wishes to Willis Lockett going up against Prince Badi Ajamu, and that'll be March 10th at the Claridge Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So that's the updated boxing for this week. And again, for Mike Reed especially, a huge win, huge bout, hopefully a huge win on horizon for him on this coming Saturday. Now, looking down the road a little bit, the two biggest bouts to date for Beltway boxers have locations, and they, of course, have dates. The dates have already been there, but the locations are there now. So we'll see what happens in this bout. Now, Saturday, April 7th, IBF Junior Middleweight Champion Swift Jared Hurd. He's out of Akik, Maryland, 2-time Beltway Boxer of the Year. He'll put his title on the line against WBA Super Welterweight Champion, the American Dream Arislani Lara of Houston, Texas, by way of Guantanamo, Cuba. This will be a unification bout that now has a home. It'll be at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. I doubted that the bout was going to be anywhere close to the East Coast. I didn't think Lara wanted to be here for that one, so I definitely thought it wasn't going to be here in the Beltway, and I didn't think it was going to be on this side of the United States anyway. Hurd, undefeated, 21-0, 15 KOs. Hurd has stopped his last 7 opponents, and that includes that 10-round stoppage he had over former world champion Austin Trout in his first out of defense, his last outing back on October 14th in Brooklyn, New York. Now, Lara was on that same card. Remember, that was that big junior middleweight championship card they had there, and Lara was on that card. He won a 12-round unanimous decision over Terrell Gaucher, but no one liked that bout. I mean, he had the Charlo bout. That was a good one. I think it was Jamel Charlo on that one. And then, of course, Jared Hurd and Trout. That was a great bout. No question about that. But the Lara bout, people started to leave. And that's how bad that was. So this is an interesting bout because Lara has great skill. No question about that. But we'll see if Hurd can do what he has done over these last 7 knockouts, especially as he has basically walked down his opponents and beaten them. He just overpowered them. He's just bigger than most of them. And we'll see if Lara will do that. Lara may be a little bit quicker than most of the opponents that Hurd has faced recently. And that could be a difference as well. That's going to be a great bout. Saturday, April 7th at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. Unification, IBF champion Swift Jared Hurd against WBA Super Welterweight champion is Arislani, the American Dream Lara. And that'll be at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas on April 7th. 2 weeks later, Saturday, April 21st, this will be at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Undefeated former IBF Super Featherweight champion Gervonta Tank Davis will take on former WBA Featherweight champion Jesus Cuellar. He's from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and that'll be for the vacant WBA Super Featherweight title. Now, the question is, will Davis make the weight? That's the big key, of course, because he didn't make the weight the last time when he was scheduled to defend his title on August 26th in Las Vegas. He scored the 8th round TKO over Francisco Fonseca, but he lost the title in the scales. He came in overweight. Now, if he does it again, we'll know that that Davis is not putting all he can into this business. A lot of people thought he was going to go up to lightweight. He's ranked in one of the major governing bodies as lightweight. I believe he's ranked third in the world in lightweight. But he's still fighting at super featherweight. If he can make the weight, fine. No problem. We'll see what happens going into this bout. But if he doesn't make the weight, then we'll know something is up with Gervonta Davis. So he needs to make the weight. There's no question about that. Cuellar, meanwhile, is 28. Is 28-2, 21 KOs. He'll look to bounce back after dropping his WBA super featherweight title in a 12-round split decision to Abner Martes. That was back in December of 2016 in Los Angeles, and Cuellar has not fought since that bout. So Davis at least has fought. He has competed. Cuellar has not. That could be an interesting situation in this particular bout coming up. Davis is fresh. Cuellar may be a little rusty. And I think Davis is probably the worst boxer you can go against being rusty. Okay. The key, of course, is whether or not Davis makes the weight. So we'll see what happens Saturday, April 21st, once again at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Both the Hurd-Lara fight and the Davis-Cuellar fight we televised live on Showtime. So we will see what happens coming forward with these big bouts here in the Beltway. Now let's move to the amateurs. We had a good week of action at the Washington Golden Gloves this past Saturday, March 3rd at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. Good bouts in the open division. Tommy Avalar won over Blaze Fiedler. His brother Wilfredo Avalar won against Kari Clinkscales. And Marlon Bowen out of Floyd Seymour's gym, he defeated Deshaun Chase out of Baltimore Boxing. So those are the big bouts in the open division coming up this past week. Saw a nice performance in the novice division by a guy named Pedro Verdejo. He's out of Simon Brown's gym. That's in, I believe, Gaithersburg, Maryland. Simon Brown, the former 3-time world champion. He looked very polished in his bout. So he looked good. And also a guy by the name of Joe Chachuni. Now, that's the best I'm going to get right this week. Hope I can get that better. He's fighting 178 pounds. Verdejo fights 141 pounds. And he fights out of Urban Boxing, which I believe is in Howard County, I believe. I'll double check that. But he won very big over Jermaine Cameron of Raw Assassin. He's a good one. He's fought a couple times in these Golden Gloves and looked very good in these Golden Gloves. So wish him the best as well. Now, first semifinal takes place this Saturday, March the 10th, Rosecroft Raceway. First bout is at 7:30. Only one junior bout, championship bout. That'll be Dennis Ziegler, the Tony's Gym, taking on LaShawn Nelson of Upton Gym. That'll be in the 140 pound bout championship. We have 6 unopposed champions: Joy Lee of Nomis Gym in the 135 pounds. Joshua Hill at Woodland Boxing Gym, 16 years old, 140 pounds. Edwin Angel out of No Excuse, he's 148 pounds. 12-year-old, 160 pounds. Champions Damian Williams out of the Sharpshooters, 165 pounds is Christian Hamilton at Champions Gym out of Rockville. And Zane Wilson of Upton is 16 years old, 178 pound champion there. Now, some of the big bouts on the card scheduled for this Saturday. More open division bouts on the card. Dwayne Holmes of Sugar Ray Leonard takes on D'Angelo McDonald of Tony's Gym. That is 123 pounds. 132 pounds, Ibrima Jawara out of Laurel takes on Trevin Bush of Sugar Ray Leonard Gym. 141 pounds, Salvador Hovel of Sugar Ray Leonard Gym taking on Davis Baker of Laurel. 152 pounds, Brian Avalar be back in action. Sugar Ray Leonard Gym. He's the third Avalar brother. He'll take on Stefan Hops of the Headbangers Gym, 152 pounds. 178 pounds, Leonard Poe out of Hillcrest takes on Tyler Langer of Mac Lewis Gym. And 201 pounds, Jordan Scott at the Fairby Hope Center in D.C. He'll take on Thomas T.J. Mottinger of Main Street, and that'll be in 201 pounds. So that should be a good one. That'll be the first of two semifinals. The second one will be held 2 weeks from this Saturday. That'll be on Saturday, March 24th. And that'll be at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. We hope to have the coverage. In fact, we should have the coverage of the Washington Golden Glove Championship blow-by-blow coverage on Saturday, April 7th at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. So look forward to having that as well on Saturday, April the 7th. Meanwhile, they announced the final rosters for the USA versus Ireland Northeast Boxing Tour. That's a tour we talked about a couple weeks ago. That's going to hit Boston on March 12th. It'll hit Springfield, Massachusetts on March the 15th, and then Manchester, New Hampshire on March 21st. And we have a few Beltway boxers that'll be a part of that event. In Boston, the roster includes both Keyshawn Davis and Troy Isley. Of course, they won gold medals at the recent tournament in Bulgaria. So Dave Davis winning his first international title in his first international competition in Sofia, Bulgaria, the Straja tournament. So Keyshawn Davis will be a part of the Boston show, as will Troy Isley, and they'll both be on the Springfield show on March 15th. And that'll also feature Amelia Moore out of Alexandria, Virginia. She will be on that card as well. So Springfield will have 3 Beltway boxers on the card: Keyshawn Davis, Amelia Moore, and Troy Isley. Right now, there are no Beltway boxers scheduled for Manchester, New Hampshire. So, but we do know it'll be both Davis and Isley in Boston on March the 12th. Davis, Isley, and Moore in Springfield, Virginia on March the 15th. These cards will be streamed live on USA Boxing for free. And so you get a chance to see these boxers go. I would hope you would do that. We'll try to get the times for you as soon as we possibly can. So it should be a great event. That's the USA versus Ireland. 3-city duel meets between these two countries. So we'll see what happens there. So that'll do it here for another edition of Beltway Boxing News and Notes. Once again, Beltway Boxing News and Notes brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. Go to freepainoffer.com. Buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on. The pain is gone in real time. And to get some great jewelry, including this great boxing pendant you can see on my blog, go to deborahspears.com. I'm Gary Digital Williams. Thanks for joining me, everybody. And always remember to keep supporting the best boxing in the world. The boxing along the Beltway. Thanks for listening. Take care.